Hello, 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 hello. We are live, baby. Right, so I have got Chang in the house as usual. My beautiful young man from the most beautiful, youngest, oldest looking man, but really he's not old. He's young. I've got that one wrong. He's the most beautiful, oldest, youngest looking man. Right. So how are you today, Chang? Are you all right?
I am all right, provided I'm audible. Am I audible or am I still
Yes,
muted?
you're audible. Thank God. I
Oh,
think there was a
finally,
little
long at
technical
long
glitch.
last.
We're only 2 or 3 minutes late, really. So you can forgive.
Okay.
Like, it's a woman's prerogative to be late, but when it's the man's fault, we've got to blame the man. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick off this show, right? Because this show is going to be really meaty today, because we're going to be discussing Ange Postecoglou and Daniel Levy's role in how he will progress. Because really, in my book, Daniel Levy holds the key to any of our managers' success, and he's pulled the plug out on a lot of our managers in the past. But we don't want to make it a Levy in, Levy out debate. What we want to discuss is how we're looking at how Ange has done so far, where he's gone wrong, where he's gone right, and taking the good, bad, and the ugly out of what the situation's been like. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, Chang, the first question, right? I didn't prepare the questions. I was just going to say them, all right, because I've been really ill this week with my legs, so I didn't have much time, right? So, if you had to choose one thing that Ange has done right and one thing that you think Ange has done particularly bad, what would those one things be, Chang?
Well, I had to say that the one big positive or the one good example, or rather one good trait that Ange has instilled at this club would be the belief at the beginning of the season, especially when you lose your talisman after you've sold him to Bayern Munich. I mean, morale was down at an all-time low at the beginning of the season. I wouldn't lie, but if there's one good thing that has come out of it, it's that he's given the players that faith back, the belief in themselves and their ability to take on any opposition, and that was very evident when he won 3 Manager of the Month awards in a row. But then
Mm,
again, there also is that double-edged sword when it comes to trying to give your players too much belief and too much control over the proceedings on the pitch. In which the one negative thing about that is that maybe he has given his players far too much independence, to the point where the last couple of matches, if you notice, he wasn't really barking out instructions until it's far too late, or until the last, I think it was since last weekend, the North London derby, where he then started to show his displeasure on the touchline, and that was caught by the cameras. And we all saw
yeah.
that in the last two league losses. So those, I think, are the pros and cons for Big Ange, in which he's given, I mean, credit where credit is due. He has given his players the license, and also the the opportunity to grow independently and individually. But in doing so, also maybe some of the younger lads coming through the ranks, the likes of your Udogi and Pape
Mm,
Matasar, where they don't have that sort of guiding light, the sort of fatherly figure that most youngsters would need at this stage in trying to nurture and to help in their growth
mm.
in the sport. So yeah, I think that is the one thing that I think Big Ange should settle and iron out during the summer preseason. But all in all, I think it's a very good mixture. It's a good mixture of pros and cons that Big Ange has brought with him from Celtic, and let's hope for more pros rather than cons in the near future.
Okay, so now you've given me that fantastic answer, Chang, and you've covered most bases, I would say. Right, I want to ask you another very poignant question. Right, so now we're in this situation we found ourselves in. We've lost four on the bounce. right? And the fan base are going into a semi meltdown, not quite a full melt. Well, some fans have gone to a full meltdown and they're asking for everybody's heads, even the tea lady, right? You
You
know,
might
when
as
it
well
gets
call for the janitors' heads as well.
yeah, the janitor, the tea lady, anybody who cuts the grass, the NFL man,
The
right?
groundsman.
So, yeah, it's like total meltdown. But what I want to ask you, Shane, seriously, because we've got like a semi meltdown in some of our own community, and everybody's saying that he had to tweak here, he had to tweak there, he had to twerk there, right? Do you feel that they have got justification to say that Ange Postecoglou's system is not working and that he should change his system completely to suit the Premiership?
So to give Big Ange the benefit of the doubt and to not really be too harsh on his first full season in charge since taking over last summer, I would say that it's not really I wouldn't put the blame solely on his inability to get the most out of the players and also his system. Rather, it's in his lack of flexibility in adapting to the tempo of the match or even the circumstances surrounding most matches. When you look at the results of the of the last four consecutive defeats, I mean there were many matches in there in which we could have just parked the bus and try to lure the opposition into exposing themselves rather than going gung ho at them. Like if you were to remember,
Yeah.
I believe we
High risk,
were
high
just
reward. Is that what you're alluding
yeah,
to? High risk, high
exactly,
reward.
exactly.
And then when it doesn't work and it
Because
breaks down, we're found wanting. Yeah.
last Wednesday when we were on this same show a week ago, reviewing the North London derby defeat prior to
Yes.
the prior to the
I wish
midweek
you hadn't brought
game
that up
against
now, Shag.
Chelsea.
I'd forgotten
Yeah,
about
because
it.
no, I have to bring it up. I really do have to
I
bring it up
know, I'm
because I
just
mean
joking. You know,
during
it's one of those games
during
you
that
want to win desperately. You know,
no
Chang,
because if
yourself,
you
we're big Spurs fans.
Mhm.
We hate Arsenal winning anything, let alone beating us. If they beat us along the way and then they win the title, they're going to gloat even more, aren't they? So carry on with your answer, Chang, 'cause sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. It's fine. You don't have to apologize because last I think it was Wednesday, last Wednesday noon, the last time we were together here on this channel doing this very same show, it was the pre-match for facing the Chiefs away at Stamford Bridge. And
Yeah,
if you look at the substitutions, the substitutes bench that Pochettino had at his disposal, it was made mainly out of under 16s and under 18s and even under 21s, basically the youth setup at
yeah.
Stamford Bridge. And that was, I feel, if you look at the players that Pochettino fielded as well, I thought that was one of the better opportunities that we could have, mustered in order
Mm,
to get a win at long last. However many seasons it's been since we last
mm,
won there, and yet, the way we went about conceding from set pieces, conceding from rebounds that no one was winning headers to. It just shows lack of belief almost in the players on their part when it comes to trying to get the better of the opposition, especially when we talk about winning those second balls, which honestly this season itself it's been completely non-existent because
I
if we
know.
were winning second balls, not only would we be able to defend from the set pieces, we will also be able to score from them as well. And
Okay.
more so than ever, Big Ange coming out in the media saying that set pieces is not a priority. I feel that instead of saying that, he should maybe allure to us working on set pieces and that we aren't there yet from what the fans expect out of us, whether it's defending or or scoring from set pieces, to come out and to blatantly say that it's not really a priority might rub fans the wrong way. It might give out wrong signals or send out the wrong message, especially if it's only your first season in charge
Yeah.
and you're already showing stubbornness that shouldn't be, the hallmark of any good manager who is able to chop and change whenever necessary. I really do hope it doesn't go to the extent of 5 consecutive losses in a row, which I think would be a new club record, an all-time new club record that's never been recorded ever before in the club's history. So this weekend will be a massive test for not only Big Ange but the players as a whole, the team as a whole, the whole squad. The character that is needed now more than ever to just finish the season strong, finish the season on a high, try to get into
Yeah.
Europe, seeing as how United themselves are faltering. I mean, absolutely no saw them
Victim.
in the
We're
capital to
lucky.
games. Yeah, we were
We're
very,
lucky they're
very
faltering. Yeah.
well. Hope for the best. Let's just see whether Big Ange is able to, get the tune out of the players, and we have a home match to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah. When I say we're lucky they're faltering, I mean that in flippantly actually, because I'm thinking let's care about our own house and forget about the other houses that are contending with us. Yeah, because like a house is a club, right? I consider it a home, right? So what Postecoglou's done in my book, which is very, very good, he's gelled the club to play the same system, right? So the youngsters play the same system and they play a lot better than our first team, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, get to know, as Alex says. Right. And right, they play it more efficiently in terms of the ethos that is Ange ball. Right. That is a coined phrase, Ange ball, right? But it's a coined phrase that means something to Ange. Now, Ange wouldn't call it Ange ball. He'll just say, this is the way I play, mate. Right? That's the way he plays, mate. And what I mean by that, he's got this philosophy, right? And if all the players adhere to it, even 80% of the time, we would be winning a lot more of those matches that we lost because of ill discipline. And players will be players, like boys will be boys. Sorry, ladies, I had to get that one in. Or sorry, gentlemen, I should apologise to the men. Right. So you give instructions, right? You have a plan for the match, right? You give instructions to the players, right? This is a good coach that we've got in Ange. He gives each individual player responsibility because he knows they're individuals, but you're playing as a team, right? I'll hark back to my playing days, right? My manager said, Ellie, get the ball, express yourself, do what you do. That's all she told me before the match. Do what you do. So I'm thinking, right, every player's different, right? Everybody needs a bit of man management in a different kettle of fish than some other players. Like there's some players who are temperamental. There's some players who if they do one thing wrong, they throw a strop because they're perfectionists, right? And there's other players that want to improve. And there's young players that want to learn from the older players. And in the match experience, they will pick up good traits and they'll pick up bad traits from the players that are not cutting the mustard under what Ange wants his philosophy to look like. Because he's got a picture in his mind how the perfect way that his philosophy will dispel itself on the pitch. And it's happening sometimes in like 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 20. But like I said, boys will be boys, right? Now they've got their own philosophies in their own mind, how they want to play. And some people have got a chip on their shoulder, right? Like I won't give names because I think that's wrong, right? But some players in our team, they have got a chip on their shoulder and they think the world owes them something, right? You have to go on that pitch, right? Do what Ange instructed you to do all of the time, not some of the time when you feel like it. And then his philosophy will come to fruition. That's how I see it, because I played football and I was told that you go on the pitch and you do this for that match, and then another match, my manager would say, this opposition are they really press high, Ellie, right? So what I want you to do is pick up really clever pockets of space to create that angle for the defence to find you, right? And keep on moving, right? And communication is very, very important in football. And I don't think our team communicate well. The only ones I see that are communicating is Vicario, Bentancur when he's on. Sar's he's very go with the flow, right? I know I didn't say I was going to mention names, but I'm just picking out a few things that I've seen and that I've heard literally live while I've been there, not where you've watched it on telly and you get muffled things, right? I see with my own eyes that Bentancur is a very good communicator. I see with my own eyes that even Højbjerg is a very good communicator, but he does it with his arms. He goes, go there, you go there. And some people say, why is Højbjerg barking orders when he's not doing his job? But if you look at him carefully, he's a very disciplined player. And so is Bentancur, right? These two players, when they've played together in the past under different systems, have played magnificently together, right? And they complemented each other. Now we've got Sarr and Basuma and Maddison. They're the mainstay for ANGE ball, if you want to call it ANGE ball. I don't want to call it. I'll call it something else, right? So to recap, right, Ange wants his total football to be played. And I was having a very good conversation with Ben Kaufman about total football. He said that none of our players can play total football. But where I see Ange, I don't think he wants us to play total football. What he wants us to play is the philosophy within his system to move the ball, pass and move, progress the ball. When you're out of transition, when you're stop attacking and you've lost the ball, revert back to form. So you're not inverted. You're going back to your right back position, Porro. You're going to centre back, Romero. You're going right centre back. Van der Ven, your left centre back. Davies or Udogie or whoever plays Emerson, your left back, right? And out of, when you're attacking, you invert, right? So they lose their discipline. They lose their desire. When you can see the goal, like we did against Arsenal, 3 goals on the trot, 2 from set pieces, 1 from a lob over the defence, and we were found wanting. That's not because of Ange's instructions. That's because of the players. The players know what they have to do, but they're not doing it. And I've said this so many times, right? Ange said he wants a remote control, yeah? So I go, Porro, you go there. And they're not there. And he gets frustrated, and you can see his passion is boiling, and it exploded against Chelsea. And he was I don't know whether he swore in Greek, but I think he did. So that the cameras didn't understand him. Right. So the players, they're not all at fault, because some of them can't play the system, like Ben alluded to. They can't play that system. So what does Ange do? What I think he's going to do, he's going to identify all the players that can't do it. He's going to identify the players that possibly he thinks, I think I can teach them. I think they've got potential to learn. I think they will do it. And then he's going to say the ones who can do it, play his system, not total football, because I don't think we do that. I don't disagree with Ben, but I just don't think we play total football, because that's Dutch master, where you can play 5 different positions and be versatile. We haven't got players like that, so we've got to play within ourselves what we've got. Yeah.
So, well, let me just quickly ask you this question then. When you talk about players and adapting their style of play to Ange's style, which of our current crop of squad players do you feel are best suited to Big Ange's system or
So
his philosophy
1 to
going
11.
forward?
Who I would put as my 1 to 11 currently without buying any players. So I'd put Vicario in goal. I'd put Porro, but I'd play him. I would personally play him just as a in Kulu's position, and buy a right back. But because I can't afford that. I can't afford that to change. Right, we're going to keep him as a right wing back, right, and invert as a midfielder, right, and then I'll play Romero. It goes without say, VDV. I'd be stupid not to put him in. I fans would kill me if I didn't put VDE. Then Udogi, he's got potential. He's still learning the game. He's only 21, I think, or 22. He's still learning the game. He's fresh. He's a freshman to the Premier League. He's only had 3/4 of a season, really, because he's been injured for some of it and he's been
He's
suspended for some
21.
of it. Yeah. So then in midfield, I would have Maddison, because I believe he can rise to the occasion. He's had the injury, and I'm not making excuses for him. He's been very poor. You can't all put it on the blame on the injury. So I'll move on from that. I think Maddison's got potential to play it. But Bentancur, fantastic footballer. He can play in any system, that boy. In a 6, an 8, a 10, he can play anywhere. He's a footballer, a true footballer with kudos. So I would play Bentancur with Madders, because then you've got 2 skillful players who can affect the game from the back to the middle to the front, right? And then I'll play Sarr, because Sarr, what an engine he's got. But he's not just an engine. Some people just see him as a runner. There's so much more to his game that some people miss. Right? I don't miss it because I'm looking for the midfielders, because I was a midfielder myself. So I'm really invested in that area of the pitch, more so than any other part of the pitch, because it's in my heart, because I was a midfielder. But with Sarr, he has to learn to move the ball a bit quicker, and he has to learn not to give it away sometimes, because when you're moving the ball quick, you're more likely to make more errors. So we have to work on that part of our game to fine-tune it. And that's Ange's job with these coaches, to get them more fine-tuned, to get them more nearer to Man City, the way they move the ball in the midfield. Because remember, midfield is your engine. Yeah? That's where it creates. That's where, I'm not saying the defence can't create, but generally the midfield is your engine, right? And then you've got your top 3, right? So at the moment, how I would play it with the personnel that we've got is Richarlison as our number 9, Sonny as our number, whatever, I'm not going to give him a number, as our left wing, and I would play Kulu on the right. But what I would do with Kulu, ideally, I would want Porro there and Kulu in an inverted position, like a false 9. Yeah, that's how I would play Kulu, because I think he'd be more effective. And then have Brennan Johnson coming on to affect games later on. So he would be my first substitution, because that's all we've got. Yeah, I'm going our personnel. I want to know your thoughts now, how you would see the lineup, what you would want with our current squad.
Basically, the lineup you mentioned is perfect, near perfect as far as I can tell. But my issue really is not whom from our current crop of players are best suited for the starting 11. Rather, which of those starting 11 are not suited, or rather they are, say, players from the previous regiment that weren't handpicked by Big Ange to start the season with, but because he has one too many players to move out, to shift on, and to bring in players to suit his vision. So basically, you could say that maybe from the midfield, other than Madison, I believe there aren't any other midfielders that were brought in by Big Ange in the summer, unless there are players which have missed out. Because if you look at the likes of Pape Matasar, Bissouma, Højbjerg, even Oliver Skip and Bentancur to a certain extent, all of these midfielders from the previous regiments, whether it's under Jose or Conte or even under Nuno. And as such, I think that that is the single biggest weakness in our current starting 11, that the midfield, in which if you are to operate in such a high line and play such a high intensity, that midfield there is the single most important asset and also the single biggest threat
Yeah,
to our
I
own
agree.
selves if it does go missing. And because of that, I feel that maybe once we've identified a proper number 9, a proper forward, and also
Yeah,
possibly
but
a
we're
right
going on
wing
what we've got
or a
at
right
the
midfielder.
moment, though. We're not
Yes,
going in the
exactly.
future. We're going on what we've got at the moment. So I'll ask you again, Chang. Who you've heard my 11? Who would you put
Yes.
in your 11?
Vicario's got to be in goal. I think there's no one
Yeah,
else other than him. The back four is the back four. I mean, I can't see anyone else coming into that back four from what we already have. That's Udogi, Van der Ven, Romero, and Porro. For that midfield trio, it's got to be Madison. Despite him, having a very horrendous end to the season, I really do hope he does bounce back and
yeah,
do what he did best at the beginning of the season. So it's going to be Madison up front in that midfield tree with possibly Pepe Matassar and Bentancur, assuming that Højbjerg and Bissouma wouldn't be sticking around. Uh,
yeah.
I think it's still far too late. I think for Oliver Skip to have a say in that midfield, although he's not that bad as a squad player as we saw against Liverpool. But I think that's maybe that ship has sailed for him. But yeah, that would be my midfield three of Madison, Pepe Matassar, and Bentancur. As for our forward line, the forward line is, I think, the only sure starter would be Son on the left. I don't see him as an out and out number 9 going forward.
Yeah.
Now that he's on the decline, sad to say as it is for him, he is on the decline, and I mean,
See, I
assuming, and this is
disagree
also
there.
assuming we don't bring
I
in another number
disagree there,
9.
Chang, about that. I'll
Okay,
tell
all
you
right,
why. I'll let you finish, but I do disagree about Son. I'll
sure.
tell you why
Okay, so
in
I'll
a
just
minute.
finish off. Yeah, so
Yeah,
for that front three, it's going to be Son on the left, Richarlison up front if we don't bring in another number 9, and possibly Kulusevski on the right, and we'll still keep Brennan Johnson as a impact substitute.
yeah. Very nice. Right. So I wanted to pick up on the Sonny factor, right? I still think he's got the X factor. I still think he's got kudos and he's got ability to affect games. What I think you're alluding to, he doesn't do it all of the time. Well, not all of the time, most of the time, right? Because with Son, right, he's always traditionally been an up and down player in terms of how he scores his goals and how he assists as well. He's not like consistent from start to finish. Yeah, he's like a choppy player. He'll score 2 there, then he'll go 3 or 4 games without scoring, then he'll score a hat trick, and then he'll go 4 or 5 goals without games without scoring. Then he'll score 1-2s, and he'll normally amount to an average of about 17, 18 goals a season. That's what when I did my own stats, and I'm not the best mathematician, and I don't profess to like in stats. I'm more of an eye person, right? But when stats can prove something, right, what it can prove that Sonny's been consistently good for every season that he's played with us, right? But not consistent throughout the season. If you get my drift, yeah? He's not a player that's going to explode. Sorry about all those watching if I used explode too much. You know what I mean? He's like, I'll explode, then I'll rest, then I'll explode, and then I might go on a calmer route, and then I might explode one more time, but he won't do it consistently throughout the season. Yeah, he'll have his calm moments, he'll have his dreadful games, He'll have his awful Lee Trefford games where like nothing sticks to him and everything's bouncing off him. I remember one game against Manchester United away. Everybody was saying he was a ballerina and like the ball wasn't sticking. And it was true, it was, but they were being a little bit harsh because he was actually trying, but it just nothing was coming off for him. He tried to turn, he tried to pass it back. The pass back was rubbish and it was going astray. Yeah, that was the worst game I've ever seen Sonny play. But I'm his best critic and I'm his advocate as well, right? Because this season I believe he scored 16 goals and 9 assists. Is that correct? 16 goals and 9 assists. Yeah, that's what I believe.
I think you're correct. Yes,
yeah?
I think you're correct.
So he's on target, right? Because last season it was a little bit of a bummer season for him. You know, it was up and down, and he was injured. He had the hernia, I believe, right? And he wasn't firing on all cylinders. And I think he broke his hand, and he broke his hand this year with the table tennis incident, wasn't it? He broke his fingers, sorry, right? So when you think about it, I don't particularly think he's so much on the decline according to what he produces. What I think you're alluding to is with the eye. Yeah, you're seeing Sonny, but remember, Chang, and this is a very, very poignant message I'm sending out to all the people that think that Sonny's lost his mojo. He's playing in a totally different system, right? He's been asked to adapt. He's the captain as well, so he's got that extra responsibility. And a lot of people are saying that he's not up to the job. He shouldn't be the captain. So there's that added pressure because he sees social media. He hears the noise. He hears people chanting at the match, "You're not fit to be captain." I've heard them say. I've actually been in the stadium and they said, "Sonny, you're not fit to be captain." And they yell it to him, Chang. Right? So this gets to his grain, what he is a fabric as a man. Yeah? And then he's got his teammates on the pitch bigging him up and they love him at the end of the match after we've drawn, lost or won. The first player everybody goes to is Sonny because they know he feels for the club. He's got his heart. He wears his heart on his sleeve, Sonny. Whether he's captain material or not, we can't influence that at the end of the day. That's Ange Postecoglou's decision. And he trusted him to be our captain. So that's who he wanted, all right? I'm not saying he's a good captain, bad captain, or like he's in between. What I'm saying is that I don't think he's lost his mojo. I just think sometimes we judge him more harshly because he's Sonny and we expect more. We really do. But what are we expecting? Are we expecting more goals? Are we expecting more assists? Because he's produced what he's produced in the past. I mean, what do you say to that, Chan? Do you think I've got a good argument for him? Or are you going to pick something? I see with my eye, I know he's not as good. But remember, we're playing a different system.
If there's one thing that I would pick out from what you've critiqued of our son and his his performance for us since his signing almost a decade ago, I wouldn't pinpoint his goals and assists, the statistics really of his performance, rather the leadership and also the captaincy on the pitch, on the field during matches. Because as a proper captain, not only do you try to muster the troops or try to get the best out of your teammates to as it were to lead by example as the match progresses, whether you are in the ascendancy, whether you're on the back foot, whether you're under the cosh, whether you're under pressure, or you're just trying to weather the storm and see out the match. For me, a good captain should always be seen rather than heard. And more often than not, especially this season itself, when our forward isn't getting any example, it's kind of difficult to see Son as a you know out and out captain if he's not trying to dictate play, if that
Mm.
makes any sense. Because the one missing thing, the one big loss this season is in having someone like a Kane who can pretty much do everything for us. And a lot of people actually still hurting. Some of us actually still hurting from his loss, or rather
Yeah.
his departure for Bayern. And that itself draws a lot of comparison of what could have been had Kane stayed, and what currently is when Kane has departed, and Son has been entrusted with the captain's armband. I would I wouldn't put too much pressure myself on his captaincy. But when things aren't going too well, the first person that a lot of fans look to is who is leading that team out
Yeah.
from the dugouts onto the field, and who is taking charge of matters when when the going gets tough. For me, I
Do you
wouldn't
think he's lacking?
I wouldn't say he's lacking. More that he has his qualities as a skipper. Otherwise, he wouldn't be Korean captain. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
national captain for South
Yeah.
Korea. But here in the Premier League, especially when you need to, really need to lead by example, and not only lead by example, but to also be able to influence your own teammates and get them to follow by your example. That is where I think maybe, just maybe, he might not have the kind of a nuance, or the attributes that maybe someone like a Roy Keane, or Vieira, uh, someone who really grabs players by the scruff of the neck and tell you,
Mm.
you have to pick up the pace, you have to pick up the slack. You are not pulling your weight. You are not contributing as much. If you look at the spat, the altercation between Emerson Royale and Christian Romero, that is actually what I'm expecting of any club captain, not only for Spurs, but any
Mm.
club captain as well, where
Yes.
you can confront your own players, you can confront your own colleagues and teammates, even as the match progresses, without getting too feisty, but to let it be known that you aren't happy, that you have colleagues playing beside you who aren't really pulling their weight. And I saw that
Yeah.
in Romero when he had a go at Royale. And not that I expect this out of Son every single game, but at the very least, have a word with your own teammates as the game progresses. If it's going
Mm.
south very quickly, if the match is declining, you as a club captain have to step up and be heard, and also lead by example. That is where I feel maybe Sun is lacking in that department. But I could be wrong. It could just be the team
Mm.
collectively as a whole not really interested anymore in playing this style, this way of football. And that could also be detrimental, not only to Son, but to the rest of the leadership group, because it's not just Son alone in that leadership group. We also have the likes of Madison and
Yeah.
Romero to call upon as well when
Yeah.
Son is missing. So overall, I mean, there are people who would say that Son isn't the captain, despite him being currently being the club captain. But I think Son's captaincy should be the least of our worries right now. I don't know how you feel about it, but having
Um,
Son as a club captain could not have come at a better or worse time, seeing as he is now one of the longest serving players in the club. So I wouldn't necessarily put too much pressure on Son and his captaincy. Although moving forward, because he is in his 30s, I think it's high time we find a new captain before it becomes a bit like a Hugo Lloris kind of scenario, where I thought
yeah.
Hugo Lloris hung on to that armband for far too long. I wouldn't wish the same for Son as well.
I think Ange Postecoglou has been very clever with the captaincy, right? Because he knows Sonny is quite a demure young man. He's not one to get into your face and scream at any given opportunity. It has to be a lot for Sonny to lose his temper, because we saw it when Lloris confronted him when he didn't track back against Everton. And then we saw the
That's
footage.
correct.
He sort of went high pitched, didn't he? We've never seen Sonny like this, right? So he has got that element, but it takes a lot to get him to there. Whereas Romero and Madison's more of a maverick. He's more of look at me, follow me. I know what I'm doing. Follow my lead. Yeah, and he leads by example in terms of his play. But because he's not been playing well, right? I think he's gone within himself, Madison, and he's not being so vocal when we've been going down. Because I remember the Sheffield United game, he was very vocal in the midfield. He was going, come on. He was going to the crowd as well. Come on. And then Højbjerg came on. He was going, come on. Then Porro was going, come on. Right? And we won the match from sheer energy, risen by these three players that found it in themselves to fire the engine. Right now, I'm not saying that Sonny can't do that. I'm saying it's possibly not in his character. He's more of a, I'll speak to you on a level type of guy. But when he does lose his temper, it takes a lot for him to go that way. And we haven't seen it. So that's up to Romero, who is like that. And then you've got another one just behind him in Vicario, who picks up, he does like a Dave Mackay. He goes to Romero, come on. You know what I mean? It's like fire and passion, right? And it gets all the juices going in the team, and then they lift their game. I've seen it, right? And we've actually won matches that we would have lost, I would say, right? So we need to capture that fire and passion every single time that we go on the pitch, right? Don't drop that, right? Always be in the game. Always be aware of what's going on about you, right? And when you see something wrong, Romero, go and scold Emerson. Sonny, if the ball's not passed to you quick enough, say to them, pass to Sonny, pass the ball quicker. Because I've seen Sonny make so many good runs and no one finds him. And he curves his run as well, because he's a very intelligent boy to not stay stray offside, right? I wish the other members of the attack would do the same, where they don't. But he's got experience, right? So there's horses for courses, right? We've got to work as a unit, right? And Ange Postecoglou's put them two as vice captain because he sees something different in both of them. Madison, the maverick, Romero, the tough guy. I'm going to whack you if you score, and I'm going to whack you one if you've done something wrong, or I'll get you by the scruff of the neck and say, look, shape up or ship out. We all teams need a strong leader. All teams need someone who is a little bit more balanced, right? And all teams need someone who can do their talking with their feet. They lead by example, like Harry Kane did. Yeah, but he wasn't a particularly good captain. We know this. He's not a particularly good captain. He's not my type of captain. My type of captain is Romero and Vicario, because I'm from a very passionate background as well.
I believe there are some people in the chat who have also.
Yeah. I'm going to get to the chat.
Romero.
I am going to get to the chat. Right. So I'm going to start with the first one. We're going to say hello to Killian. He said, hi, guys. Hi, Killian. I love the surname Kenny. It sounds Irish. It must be. Right. Obviously, Chang. Greetings, Mr. Killian Kenny. Right. So I'm going to skip through all the ones where they're saying hello to each other. Then we're going to welcome Pablo Javi, I think it's pronounced. And I don't think you've just put a dot, which I don't know what it means, but yeah. Audio artisan, morning peeps. Morning, audio, morning. Beyond 72 says, got to be honest, couldn't help wondering last night if Ange would have got Dortmund through that second half last night. Taking risk isn't just about attacking. Yeah, true, because taking risk is defending well as well. Because when you're defending, you can take a little bit of risk, Chang, by getting closer to the player, and then he could still beat you. But if you know you've got the pace to recover, take that risk and try and win the ball. Yeah, win the ball for your teammates and then get you on progression rather than getting attacked. So what do you think about that?
You have a good point there when it comes to, trying to set up. Apologies.
Don't worry. These things happen, Shang. Don't worry about it.
How about I get back to you in about a minute?
Go and do a Romero on him. I'm on a stream. Be quiet.
Yeah, because this is the problem with me broadcasting from my side office when I'm technically still at work, but I'll try to power through because there's still some.
He's basically saying that Ange Postecoglou is going to keep his job next year. Oh my god! Carry on, Chad. Carry on.
Okay, so I'm just going to try and I'm going to.
Sometimes you have to persevere in adversity.
Okay. Yes. So.
You Van der Vaart.
I'm just going to answer this comment here by Beyond 72. Trying to ask if Big Ange would have been able to get Dortmund through against PSG last night. If you still persevere or if you still stick to your guns by only playing a certain way or a certain pattern and you do not adapt as when the occasion calls for it, I think he will be found out. And the last four consecutive losses are a perfect example that you can't always stick to fixed philosophy if it's not going too well for you. And this should be addressed in pre-season, I feel, before the start of the new season, especially if he really is adamant on challenging, which honestly at this moment in time, I really can't see it happening until he learns his lesson that the Premiership isn't the Scottish League, or it isn't.
It's unforgiving. It's unforgiving, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got better players, and they will punish you if you're not disciplined within his system. Remember, Chang, right? He doesn't want to just have Van der Ven at the back. He wants Porro to be in position. He wants Emma Goat to be in position. He wants Romero to be in position. But where they lose their discipline, we're found wanting because we've only got one at the back. That's not Ange's fault. That's the players. That's their discipline. That's their desire. Like I said before in the other stream, right? It looks shambolic because the players are not doing what Ange has told them to do. Do you think that Ange tells them to go gun-ho and leave one at the back? He doesn't. He says, right, high risk, high reward, right? Press high, keep a high line, and when it breaks down, you have to bust your gut to get back. And the players are not doing it all the time. They're losing their discipline. They're losing their desire, right? They might be tired. They might be carrying an injury and they can't do it. But he has to play them because he's got no choice. You see, all these factors go into that he doesn't want to tweak it. But now the fact is, now he's seen it, that they aren't disciplined, that they haven't got the desire. That's when you say to your boys, right, you're not playing my system, therefore I'm going to say to you, drop back 5 yards and don't high price. So it's going against his philosophy, but it makes sense. But will he do that? Will he do that because he can see the players can't cope with it, right? Or will he say, right, this is a learning curve, right? I know which players can't do it. I know which players don't have the desire to do it. And I know the players that just don't want to run for me. Yeah. So he's going to say, right, all you boys out the door, you go. I don't want you. get lost, right? That's what Ange is very harsh when it comes to these decisions. So then he's already identified with Lunga and Paratici, who he wants to come in to play his system better, who've got the character and the desire and the wanting and the running stats to cope with Ange ball, if you want to call it Ange ball. I don't like calling it that, but lots of people call it that, so I'll call it that just for their sake, right? Then you're going to get the real philosophy of Ange, because at the moment we're not seeing anywhere near what Ange wants. And you can see he cuts a sorry figure on the touchline, doesn't he? Right? You look at Ange and you think, right, what is he thinking? I wish I could get into his brain, but I know exactly how he's thinking, because I'm thinking it. He must be thinking it. He must be thinking, right, Udogie I want to keep. Romero I want to keep because they will fight for my team. Porro I want to keep. He might not be the best option at the moment, but I want to keep him because he's got desire, he's got heart, he wants to play for me. And then he sees other players that I won't mention, right? He's thinking, he's a really good player, but is he running for me? Has he got the desire for his teammates? Has he got the does he want to be in my team? Yeah.
On that note, Queen Ellie, do you think Big Ange has lost the dressing room?
No, I don't think he's lost the dressing room. What I think, right, players will be players, right? They sometimes go back to form in what they want to, how they want to play, not how he wants to play. And some players are bloody stubborn, right? We've seen it in other teams. Look at Manchester United. People run through their midfield like there's no midfield there. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you that Ten Hag's a bad coach? No. It tells you that those players are not responsible to work for their team. And track back. When the players are going through your midfield, track back and help your teammates. It's a team game. It's not an individual game, right? So I think a lot of players, they want to play for Ange, right? But sometimes they lose their discipline and they lose their desire. And that's when you can get caught out. You do that twice, the top teams in this league will punish you, right? Maybe Luton won't. Maybe Bournemouth won't. But bloody well, damn, you bet your top dollar that Arsenal are going to punish you, that Liverpool are going to punish you, that Man City are going to punish you, that Aston Villa will punish you. And that's why they're in the top four. Because their desire is there. Their wanting is there. Their discipline is there. They're listening to their manager and they're holding what their manager says to them for most of the match. You switch off in this league, you're punished. More invariably, you're punished, aren't you, Chang? Right? I could switch off one time. I could be playing the perfect game and I think, right, I'm not going to run back. I'm tired. I've done enough for this team. Because it's human nature to think that. I don't want to run back. Let Van der Ven do it. I'm too tired. I can't run anymore. Right? You don't want to hear that in a player, but it does happen because we've seen it time and time again. Right? So I don't think he's lost the dressing room. I think what I think Ange should do, right? He tells them they really respect him. You can see they respect him, but some players don't respect him enough to bust their gut when they think they've done enough for the team. It's like a chip on their shoulder, Chang. Oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've created this goal, I've scored myself, therefore I don't have to track back. Yeah, but football's not like that. Do you see Pep Guardiola accepting this? Do you see Jose Mourinho accepting this? Do you see Antonio Conte? He said it in his meltdown. He goes, "This is unacceptable." The desire, the players that don't want to play under pressure. He goes, because he knows they're not playing under pressure, right? So I don't think it's because they lose the respect for the manager. I think it's just something in themselves, innate in themselves, that's a weakness, right? Like Pep Guardiola, do you think he says to his players, if you've scored 2 goals, you're allowed to rest. If you've scored 5 goals, are you allowed to rest? No. You bloody work for 90 minutes for your money and for those fans who've come to watch you. I don't know if you saw that presser that he did, not the presser, the dressing room scene. It was fantastic. He goes, Cole Palmer was part of the team that day. He was talking to all the team and he wasn't individualising it. He was talking to the whole team because he didn't want to call out one particular player. So he done it as a generalisation. He said, these fans, they come from miles and miles away, thousands of miles, to come and see you do this, to slack off just because you've scored a goal. Do you think that's acceptable? He says to them, right? He done like an Al Pacino speech on them, yeah? I don't know if you've seen that film Scent of the Woman where he does that fantastic scene at the end. I won't give it away because people might not have seen it. But Pep Guardiola, he's got standards, right? He comes from Barcelona, right? He played in tiki-taki football that actually came from Spurs' history, the push and run. That's our history, which we showed to the world through Billy Buckle, right? So he wants, Ange Postecoglou wants a certain system played his way or the highway, right? And I know for a fact he's the nearest manager in terms of what he wants out of his team to Pep Guardiola, right? And this year is a learning curve for him because he knows he inherited this team, remember the basic of the team he inherited. Then he added a few here, there, which he thought would add flavour to the team, right? But he wasn't afforded what Pep Guardiola can choose, yeah? He wasn't afforded what Klopp could choose. He wasn't afforded what Arsenal had, right? They've spent a lot more money than us, especially Arsenal, 700 million, I believe. Declan Rice, 105 million. Yeah? So if we want to get to these levels, this is another thing, right? They have to afford Ange his players that may not choose us at first, but once we start winning with things under Ange, and I believe we will win things under Ange, I've got my heart on my hand, on my hand on my heart here. I genuinely believe we will win things under Ange if we're patient, right? Because he will build a team for us that we'll be proud of. Because look, Poch didn't do it in one season. He hasn't done it at one season in Chelsea either. But you can see the progression. Look when they beat us. That's progression, right? They might go and lose the next 2 games, but there's progression. And I think Ange sees progression, but he will cut the players that he doesn't think are going to work for him. So he might, when you say he's lost the dressing room, I think not the dressing room. I think he's lost certain individuals. Yeah. Over to you, Chang.
So before we go any further into this discussion, maybe we could move on with the chat as well.
Yeah, of course we will.
The chat
I
has
will do that.
quite
Yeah,
a lot since we started an hour ago.
I will. Right, so we've got Kuva99 saying, big up Ellie and Chang and all in the chat. Thank you very much. I want you to read this one because you're brilliant at it.
Big up Ellie and Mr. Chang by Chris Agamba, the best Agamba that there is in the world.
Of course. Right. You heard it here first.
And from Colin Blackshaw, from Mr. Colin Blackshaw, good morning, Ellie and Chang. Thank you, Mr. Blackshaw.
Thank you very much.
From El Del Cocarel himself, morning fullness, Ellie.
Yeah, do you know what
has he been trying to contact you? Has he been trying to get through to you?
You know what it was? My sister-in-law rang me about my daughter's wedding. And when I talking about my daughter's wedding, and then my daughter phoned me about her wedding. So I was off the phone and I talked so much about weddings, I had no chat left. That was my excuse, Jose. I just didn't want to pick the phone up because I was all chatted out. Because when women chat, we chat, I'm telling you. Right, so we've got a few more in the chat, right? So we've got Wayne Bonner.
Wayne Bonner.
Go on, Chang, you read it.
Well, hello, Ellie and Chang, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're all well. Sunday can't quick enough. Come on, you Spurs. I couldn't agree more with you on that,
Yeah.
Mr. Bonner. We really need to get back to winning ways and quick because even the some of the Spurs faithful are losing faith.
Yeah, true. And then we've got David Shear, not Shire.
Mr.
Neil
Shear,
Hayes, hello,
Mr.
Copper,
Shear.
Ellie and Chang. Thank you very much, Mia. Spurs between the lines, everybody. Get over there and subscribe. Get over there and like all her videos. Even if you're there all day, just like them all. Okay, that's an order from the Queen Ellie. Hoi Pierre. Okay. Daniel E saying,
Mr.
big up
Daniel E.
everyone. Yes, big up everyone. And then we've got Chang again. Oh, right, Chang, you've said something more. Oh, no, Destiny 5. How did it move from there to there? I was up here. Oh, wait 1 second, Chang. I'm going to just scroll up where I was. Where were we? Okay,
It was just after Daniel E from the
Yeah.
Hotspur who is
Yeah, I
first
know.
chat of the day.
So we've got lots here. We've got lots of people in the chat. Okay, right. No. We're a bit further up. Right. No. Wayne Bonner. No. 25. You know what? I'm going to find it eventually. I understand. Yeah, no. Bloody hell. How many people are chatting, man? Woo! It's more worse than my daughter about her wedding. But I love it because I love you all. You know that. Here we go. We need someone. No. I'm not even there yet. Right, here, let me scroll up. Okay. Bloody hell. No. Do you know what? I should really start where I've been, shouldn't I? When I do it. Anyway, we've got Daniel E saying, Daniel E, anyone not prepared to do anything for the manager for starters? Yeah, I agree with you. You know, when the manager barks orders at the beginning of the match in the dressing room, he's not barking orders so that you can go and do something that you want to do. You know what I mean? So track back when you need to. David Shear, Derm, good day, Cobber. the Australian thing. Jishnu Raju, welcome, Jishnu. I believe in Ange. I hope he will make changes, mainly inverted fullbacks in build up, not as forwards. Out of topic. Ellie and Chang is the best. Yeah, you know it. You know what? You have to be humble, so I don't know it. Right, beyond 72. I was thinking we don't have a player called Malaga. Right, so you're Greek beyond 72, or you know the word Malaga. I won't say what it is, Chang, because it'll burn your ears. I think you probably know what Malaga is anyway. You've probably sussed it out. Right, well done, Dermot. Good day, David. Hello, Dermot. Nice to see you in the chat. David Shear, 72. And then we've got Ben Kaufman saying only 3 players in this squad can play this football. We will have to sell 20 players in 4 years, and we will not be able to do that. We're going to have to adapt the system for the league. Right. So that's where Ben, right? I was going to say to you yesterday, if you're thinking total football, yes, maybe they can't play. But I think within Andrew's system, they can get better at it. It needs more drilling. So the players that he identifies that can play the type of football that he likes and are stay disciplined and have the desire as well. Because you can't really teach desire, right? The player would himself, when he's on the pitch or she's on the pitch, she has to want to do it, hasn't she? So you give instructions, work for each other, team play, really like get close to one another, know each other's inside leg measurement, entertain outside of the game, go out on dinners together, build team spirit. It all bodes well for the team because you want to work for that teammate. But when you get on that pitch, sometimes you're tired, right? And you feel, oh, have I got the legs? So you do need players that have got the legs for this type of football as well, Chang. What would you say to that?
I 100% agree with you on this, which is why very much earlier in the beginning of the show, I did ask you from the starting 11 that you handpick yourself that would best suit the current system that Big Ange has in mind for his team. Which of those players are actually not suited to
Not
Big
suited,
Ange's
right, not
which of
suited
those
in the current
mm,
squad. Right, from
correct,
one,
yes.
right, not suited for the current squad. I'd say Romero, because he doesn't move the ball quick enough. But in other respects, he is suited. But I'd say moving the ball quickly, no. Right? I know that sounds harsh, and Mia probably kill me. Højbjerg, because when I've seen his stats, when he's passing the ball quickly, his stats for passing have dropped right down to 79.2% when he was at 89 and 90%. So that's a big difference, right? Right. Johnson, not strong enough, not fit enough. He can move the ball quickly, but he's just not fit enough to suit that system. Werner, not on belly. Heel. Lo Celso, no, I think he's suited. Lo Celso, with him, it's desire slacking. If he can get his desire right, he'll be a very good asset to our team. Right, let me start from the back. Yeah, Skip as well. He's got desire and heart, just hasn't got the kudos. Right, we're going. Are we talking about
Udogie?
players on loan? Are we talking on players on loan as well, or just in the current squad?
Just in the current,
Right.
just in the current squad.
Udogie suited, 100%. Emerson
Porro?
Royal.
Have you touched on Porro?
Emerson Royal, not suited. Porro suited. You're saying only the ones who are not suited. So if I don't mention them, they're suited. Richarlison. With Richarlison, the reason I'm putting him in that bracket is not because he can't do the high press, because he can, right? I just don't think he's got the kudos to receive the ball and turn with it and affect games like another better striker, because we can do a lot better. Who else? Kulu, not suited. Yeah, there you go. I think I've done them all. The others I haven't mentioned, I think are suited. And I know it's harsh to drop Romero, but it's hard for me because he's such a good defender, but the passing of the ball and his stats show something different. But when I watch him with my eye, I have to call him out because he doesn't move the ball quick enough for my liking. He ponders too much. And by that time, Son's lost interest. Yeah.
Do you think that maybe Madison isn't suited as well, seeing as how he's been missing for the most part of the second half of the season after coming back from
I
injury?
think he's suited. I think he's very much suited, and I'll tell you why. Because he can move the ball quickly, he can move it slowly if he wants. He can do the ball. He's got so many tricks up his sleeve, the boy, and he's got vision. You always need a player with vision, right? That he sees things before other players. Therefore, we need that type of player, but we need another one like him, right? We need another one like him who can pick out and split defenses, pick out that beautiful pass, that beautiful cross ball, and can move the ball quickly. It's just he hasn't been doing it lately. The one thing about Maddison that I question is his not the desire. I think he's got desire. It's sometimes a bit of commitment to affect games. Be the boss. Yeah, boss the game. You're James Maddison. Demand the ball. If they're not passing, demand it. Shout. Give me the ball. Yeah, and when you've got the ball, don't turn on yourself and pass the responsibility back. Do what James Maddison does 100% of the time, not 80% of the time, because he's got the kudos, the boy, to affect games for the whole of the for the whole of the match. If he just used, he's got it up here. He sees things other players don't see. He's got a bigger picture of what's going on around him. Yeah, so I think we need a player like that, but we need another. Other than that, I think I've covered everybody, haven't I? Yeah.
Yes, I believe you have. You've pretty much covered everyone that is in our current
How
either the
many
starting
players did I
11 or
mention? It
one of
wasn't
the fringe
quite as many
players.
as 20. It wasn't
Mhm.
quite as many as 20. Did you count how many players? Because I wasn't counting. I was just reading off names.
There were a few names that you might have missed out. Maybe
Oh,
Bisua.
Davis.
Bisua is one.
Davis as well. He has to go.
Yeah, Ben Davis. Yeah, Ben Davis as
Has
well
to
is
go.
correct.
Can't. No good for the
I think
system.
it goes without saying that maybe Fraser Foster as well. Fraser Foster definitely
Oh
has to
yeah,
go.
yeah. Because he's a goalie. Yeah, we're going to get rid of him anyway. Yeah, Fraser Foster. So we're left with a spine of the team, aren't we? We've got Vicario, we've got VDV, Udogi, and Porro. They can all play, not Ange ball, they can all play the system, right? And then in midfield, Madders, Bentancur, Sarr. I would keep Basuma for now, but I don't think Ange will keep him. I just really don't think Ange is going to keep him. I've just got this inkling.
So basically, we still need a couple of transfer windows then to really get the kind of players that
Ooh.
Big Edge fancies that can
I
really,
think he needs
give.
5 minimum. I think 5
Wow, 5.
to get. Do you know what I mean by 5? I don't mean 5 to get to the you to get to. He needs maybe 3 to get to 90% of what he wants, but 5 or 6 to get to everything he really wants. So you're talking 3 seasons, aren't you? Because there's 2 in every season. So his contract is 4 seasons. He's done the first season, and we're likely to finish 5th, right? Then the second season, we want to see progress in the cups and the league. We want to finish higher or win it. If we can win it, that'd be incredible, right? Let's see what happens,
That
right?
will be miraculous. It's not going to be incredible. It's going to be miraculous.
Yeah, it's going to be miraculous because you've got Man City who like the creme de la creme de la creme de la creme. And then they add
Even
cream
Woolwich
to it.
themselves,
They're
even
adding
even
cream
Woolwich
every
themselves,
year.
even Woolwich who have spent 700 million or so and are close second favorites this
Yeah,
season. Even they themselves are finding it difficult to keep up the tempo. The same way City are doing it almost effortlessly every single weekend.
yeah. I mean, Arsenal are nearly there. They could even win it this year. It all depends on our result with Man City, I think, because I think they win their other 2 games.
Do you reckon? Do you actually reckon that there is an outside chance of us pulling off an upset against
Oh
City at home?
no. Oh my God, Shane. Do you know what? I've got nightmares about this. I've got nightmares that we're going to beat Man City and Arsenal are going to win their next 3 matches. And we've given the league title to. Really, we haven't given it to them. They deserve to win it if they win their other 2 matches. If they cock up and they don't and Man City win it, then regardless of what we do in our match, it's not going to affect it because we could win and Arsenal could still lose the league. Yeah. So I don't want us to lose any game, but I wish it was the last game. Oh God, my
Can I read
heart,
out this? Can I very
my
quickly
heart
read out
is
this comment?
breaking. My heart is broken. Yeah, of
Can
course
I
you
very
can,
quickly
Shane.
read out this comment by
Of
Mr.
course you
Lenny
can.
Mack? It's the final comments in the chat. Lenny Mack is saying that if we do beat
Let's have a look.
City, he's going to
Let me put
quit
it up.
being a Spurs fan and become a Tiddly Wings fan. By the way,
Did
this is
you
a very
say?
quality comment of yours, Mr. Lenny Mack.
Did you say this is the one, isn't it? If we beat
This is the one.
City, I'm beating Spurs and becoming a tiddly. Do you see? I'm with Lenny. I'll be playing those tiddlywinks with you. Honestly, I'll play it all day long because I despise Arsenal, right? And I know I probably haven't got any Arsenal fans in my chat, in our chat, sorry, Chang, right? So I can say this. If there is, I do apologise, but I'm not apologising. Right. So let's pick out some of these really good chatters, right? So we've got Ben Kaufman, only 3 players in this. Oh, we've done that one. Daniel E is saying, was our midfield? That means our midfield. Our midfield, not our midfield, is a serious issue. That is the basis that links our attack and protects the defence, and our midfield looks a bloody shambles. Right. I don't think it looks a shambles. What I think is ill discipline, right? Ill discipline and desire is not there anymore. So it does. I wouldn't say bloody shambles. I would say not even occasionally. I think sometimes it looks a bit not shambolic. Oh, that's not the word. It looks a bit messy sometimes, but not all of the time. You know, there's parts where they do gel and they have got the desire and the discipline to get back into shape. All right. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Chang? Like we're bloody
The
shambles.
midfield is blowing. The midfield this season has been blowing hot and cold, if you ask me. Like, if you were to look at the performance away at Craven Cottage, that
Yeah.
3-0 loss to Fulham, the midfield was invincible to say the least. They were completely all out at sea
Invisible,
and
yeah?
were absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
They were absolutely nowhere to be found at all, which is what alludes me to say that maybe Madison isn't quite cut out for the leadership role as is expected from maybe a midfield general who will be able to get more out of his colleagues and really
Yeah.
take hold of the game by the scruff of the neck. In the same way, maybe a Vieira or a Keane or even a Modric. Come to think about it, if you look at what Modric is doing over at Madrid, and it's not just for one season; it's
Yeah, he's an
it's for more
exceptional
than a
player.
decade now.
He's still got the desire.
Exactly, and I think
Right?
that's what's lacking.
He's got the
That is
desire to play football because he loves playing football and he's a winner. He wants to win every time he goes on. Our players, I don't think they're winners at this very moment. They're not winners. Even James Maddison, right? I know he's won I think he's won the FA Cup. Yeah, he won the FA Cup, but they're not winners in the true sense of winners, right? We've got to get that winning mentality and the culture of our club right. When you go into the club, I heard a gentleman told me just recently that he went to the club and all he could see was like bare walls, and you had to go up to the 6th floor to find out anything about our history. Our history should be on the first thing you walk through. You see our history. You're proud of our history. You'll show it. You'll have statues there. You'll have statues outside. You'll have little basques of Bill Nicholson and Glenn Hoddle and Steve Perriman and Danny Blanchflower and Billy Buckle and the young boys who started the cricket club. Have a massive picture of them as you walk into the entrance. It's like a corporate place.
I actually have a theory on why this is so, Queen Ellie. If you were to look at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium right now, it's actually more attractive for events and concerts and basically non Spurs related events, and I feel that is why it is designed as such. Where in maybe a proper footballing club's stadium, you would definitely see the club's history, but because we are repurposing our stadium for concerts and for events and
That's no excuse though, Chang. I
yeah,
don't
but
consider that an excuse, right? We're Tottenham Hotspur Football Club first and foremost, right? We've got to make sure that root of our heart is showing in every crevice of that stadium, regardless if Beyonce's performing there, regardless if there's boxing matches, regardless if there's NFL, right? Do you know what? I went on the stadium tour, right? And it's really a good tour, right? There's lots of memorabilia, there's lots of pictures, there's like a little, it's not a museum, but there's like a big wall where you can see from the start of our 1901 when we won the FA Cup, right? And then you go back a bit further, 1882, when we were formed, Andreas de Fessir, to Dare is to Do, right? And you get a really warmth, a big warmth, right, going on the tour, right? And I really did enjoy it, right? I sat in Daniel Levy's chair as well, by the way, everybody. I sat in there and it's a heated seat, but it wasn't turned on. So I was really upset because I'm the Queen and it should have been switched on just for me. Right? But there's a joke. But what I'm saying, the fabric of our club is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Right, when I go to the stadium, if it's Beyonce playing, I don't expect anything Tottenham coming up, but you're going to see the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so they know it's our grand. Right, when we're playing home matches, I don't want to see them advertising Beyonce all the time. Sometimes, yeah, but then flash Glenn Hoddle up, flash Ginola up, flash Gazza up, flash Danny Blanchflower up, flash Dave Mackay up, flash Billy Buckle up. That's what I want to see, right? And then they've done that clock, haven't they? Yeah, the cockerel clock. You have to say that right when you're not drunk. See, and I stand under there and I was stroking it, Chang. I was stroking the pole of the clock because I cuddled it. I cuddled it because I remember it was in the middle of the, you know, as you go into the gate, Bill Nicholson gates. Yeah. All this is our fabric of our club. What makes our club special, our club unique, yeah? And it's part of
The very essence of the club.
your football heritage, yeah? I'm 62 this year, right? So I'm older than you, right? You've seen us win trophies, but maybe not as many as us, but you've seen us. But there's someone like Ben who hasn't seen us win one trophy in the whole 29 years he's been alive. Right, so he's upset that he goes to the grand and he doesn't see our history. He has to find out about our history from his father, obviously, first and foremost. His dad would have versed him as a Spurs fan that this is what our club achieved. You know, great honours. Like, I mean, up to 1991, Chang, we'd won 8 FA Cups. We were the FA Cup champions. Nothing since. So what I think, you learn from your past and it shapes your future, right? What we're doing, we're trying to run before we can walk, right? And we're getting win now managers in, right? That didn't suit our system, that didn't suit our club, sorry, right? If you give them the money, of course they're going to suit our system. If you buy them the top creme de la creme players and we get them before Man City and Liverpool, and we get them before Chelsea and Arsenal, don't you think we'll be up there as well? Because we'll have the best players. But you've got to have the money, you've got to seize the power, and then you get the trophies. And the trophy, I said this so many times on so many streams. First you get the power, then you get the money, sorry, then you get the power, then you get the girl, right? Or the boy. If I'm not going to be like put people in a box. Because girls like girls, boys like boys, right? And vice versa, right? Girls like boys, boys like girls, right? So when you've got the trophies, you attract a player that might see Liverpool in their current mode or see Man United in their current mode, and they say, Ange Postecoglou won the FA Cup last year and he nearly won the league. Where shall I go? Where shall I go? Shall I go to Liverpool? Oh, they're not signing so many good players. But Spurs are getting all like nice players going over there. I'm going to sign for Spurs, right? And we'll get a top player signing for us, right? And then another player might think, Chelsea has sort of dropped off the wagon. They've got Pochettino there. He hasn't won anything. Ange Postecoglou, yeah, he's sort of got a good career. He's had a good history. He's won in Scotland. He's come to the Premiership. He's finished 5th in his first season. Just say that this is what they're going through their mind. I can see progress there. I can see there's a lot of good players. Yeah, I'll choose Spurs. So we get another second really good player that we've beaten the better teams to. Yeah, like in their history. They're looking at their current history, not their past history. right? Their current form, right? So we have to play on this, right? And we've got to be very, very savvy when we're signing these players. Right, we're gonna identify 3 or 4 different players in each position, right? Because that's what Paratici does. And then he'll say, right, let's go for our first target, right? We'll put all our eggs in one basket, right? We'll go for our first target, but we don't do that, do we? Right? We'll say, right, we'll go for our first target. Let's see who gets him, right? Will we get him or will Man City get him? Right? Bet your bottom dollar if that player's thinking, shall I go to Spurs or Man City? If he's any player of any kudos, he's going to say Man City just done the treble last year, and they might even do the double this year. By the end of the season, they would have made their decision, isn't it? So say they do the double, for example. They're saying they did the treble, they did the double. What did Spurs do? They finished fifth. Where shall I go? Where shall I go? Where am I going to? And then there's the wage structure as well that plays a dividend because some players are lured by money, not just fame and fortune. They're lured by trophies as well. So they'll think, right, it all goes in players' minds, doesn't it? And their agents as well, Chang. It'll go through their minds. So you've got to be very savvy so that you can get decent, really good players at the start of the project. And then when you start winning, right, and you've got more money, because we're the richest club in London, apparently. Yeah? What I've said, does it ring true to you, or have I said a load of bullshit?
Every single word of that rings very true because in this modern climate, the modern game right now, where it's not enough to just be one of our own, or it's not enough to merely be a fan of the boyhood club that you supported growing up as you were
Yeah.
making your way
Yeah.
through the ranks, through the hierarchy. You still have to be able to care for your family, care for your loved ones. You need to have some form of bragging rights, especially if you are someone like a national skipper. The same way Kane was pretty much almost forced out by his own peers for winning absolutely sod all over at with us. So all of
Yeah.
this comes into play, but I do agree that if you're to look at our recent transfers or our recent signings, the there are promising signs that the younger generation are sitting up and taking notice of what we are doing, not only in Britain but also in Europe as well. And that was very evident in January when the likes of your Lucas Bergvall and Dragushin choosing us over the likes of Barcelona and Bayern Munich. That is a good. That is a big plus. Although I think we're going to need more than just promising youngsters. We're going to need more than just hopeful youths if we are to challenge on a consistent basis, not just putting in 1 or 2 good performances or good matches for a month, but consistently week in week out if big Ange is to challenge. And I think that given that list of names you mentioned earlier, whom you feel is suited for the system and whom you feel isn't suited for the system, and how you said maybe we need something between 3 or 5 windows, I think that we have I think Paratici, Johan Lang, and Daniel Levy have a lot of work on their hands when it comes to the rebuild, especially
Yeah.
after everything you've just mentioned earlier with how players, how they view their careers, what they hope to how what they expect from their own careers and
No, I
from
agree.
this sport before they retire or before they move on to better things beyond their playing career. I I feel that this coming summer transfer window is going to be the start of do or die. It's almost like last chance saloon now for Enoch and Daniel Levy. If they don't get this right, if they don't back Big Ange big time, and if it does fall short again, I believe we are going to just remain in this current level, this current
Okay.
level uh, of where we are right now. Because if we are not gaining on the on the top three, we are not only are we going to forever not be able to gain on them, but we're going to find ourselves losing out sooner or
Yeah.
later to the likes
I,
of your
you know what,
Villa, your
Shane?
Newcastle.
I get your point. I get your point. I just wanted to interject there because I wanted to bring this a satire because I think it asks a very good question. Better to bring a young, dynamic manager who plays attractive and effective football. Right. So I don't put an age on playing attractive and effective football because if you look at Pep, he's no spring chicken, and nor is Klopp. And all the managers that have won things in the past. Look at Ferguson; he was like winning things right throughout his career. So it's not an age thing. I just think I think that might be a bit not it's not a bad comment, but it's a good comment. But there is a but here. I don't put an age on how attractive and effective football because we've seen throughout the years that all the top managers, when they've got their experience as well, they play attractive, effective football. And it depends on what you think is attractive as well. Attractive can open up a can of worms because some people's idea of attractive football is counter-attacking football, and others is being solid defensively. You know, it depends on what you think is an attractive style of football. Me personally, my style of football might be totally different from Chang's, but we can still play attractive football. You see, so I don't think a young dynamic manager is going to make any difference to how Ange plays because I think he does play attractive and maybe not effective football yet because he hasn't got the kudos in the team to play his style. Yeah, so once he gets his team assembled and it's his proper team, like in his image, then we have to judge him then. If it's failing then we can judge him, right? I mean, we are judging him now, but you know, there is a big but here. He hasn't got the team that he's assembled that's his team. Yeah. So what do you say to that, Chang?
Again, every single thing that you just said there is completely spot on. Because if he does have his team, I'm still of the belief that we won't be where we are right now, or rather, we won't be languishing in fifth. Uh, looking back and pondering what this season could have brought for us had we not had all those injuries and suspensions and players going out on international duties at the wrong possible moment where we were just about to turn a corner. I feel that if he does get his players in and the team is able to buy into his philosophy and pull together in the right direction, there is this belief that yes, he will be the first manager. He will be the first manager to finally win us something in a good long while now since Juan de Ramos. And I mean, there are still lots of ifs, buts, and monkeys nuts to quote Miss Kate on this when it comes
Love that.
to what the
What a
future
lady
holds for
Kate
us.
is.
But yeah, but okay. Very quickly, can I send the link? Can I please send a link to Mr. Daniel from the Hotspur Hood? I believe he
Yeah,
wants to jump on very,
yeah,
very
you can
quickly.
join
Mr.
us.
Daniel, if you can hear
Yeah,
me, I'm going to send it to you through WhatsApp now, okay? And
yeah,
you
because
can
I
join
can't do it
whenever
from
you
my
get it properly.
computer. I
It's
can't
fine.
do
I
it
can
from
I
my
can do it.
computer. You
Let
can
me
do
do it.
it.
Let me
Because
send it to Mr. Daniel right now.
I'm not allowed to put my WhatsApp group on my daughter's computer. That's why. So I'm just putting that out there because it's her computer that I'm using, her laptop, I should say, and it's all security um, filed up, so I can't. And also for your security as well, because other people will be seeing your messages. So we don't want that. So what I'll do, I can do it on my phone, but not on the computer. Yeah. So yeah, bring him in because I want to get his opinion because obviously he's got a totally new look on other things that we're chatting about. And I just want to get to this one as well. I will play at least 5 players from the academy, keeping Bentancur, VDV, Romero, and Lo Celso. Hmm. You
So
know what?
if you do see Mr. Daniel in the back room, you can bring him anytime
Yeah,
because I've just given
I
him the
haven't seen
Streamyard
him
link.
yet. I haven't seen
Okay,
him yet.
so All right,
Yeah,
good.
he's probably gonna get his snake. Right, then we've
By the
got
way,
another really good
the name
comment
of the
here,
snake, I
Chang.
believe. Hmm,
I wanted
you were
to,
saying
you
yes,
saw that
yes.
comment. Right, I'll bring Dan in. Welcome, Dan.
1
You know
second.
what I'll have
There
to
we
do now? You're on Dan. I'll have to go full
There
Dan
we go.
E. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, go
Hoping
on.
to
Get us with
good
it.
this afternoon.
Yeah,
Right. What it
we're
is,
good.
it's something that where I literally only got up about an hour ago. I had a terrible night's sleep. Didn't get to sleep till bloody
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
Same here.
I found an interview. It's about an hour. It's about an hour old with ANGE that they just done on an Australian one, Optus Sport.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of them. Sport.
On my community, I've put the picture on there and I've put a link on there. When
Okay,
everyone's
good.
got 10, I think it's about 12 minutes long. When everyone's got about 12 minutes during the day, during the night, whatever time, watch the
Yeah.
interview. It's actually a really good interview with Ange, and it actually puts a bit of hope in it. I mean, the interview is only about an hour and 20 minutes old now. If I have a
Yeah.
quick look at it, yeah, it's only been online for about an hour 20 minutes.
Wow.
And if you watch that when you got a chance to do it, let's say not
I
now,
will
not
definitely
whenever,
watch
just
it.
when everyone's got 10, 15 minutes later on during day, night, whatever, go onto my channel, onto the community, and there's a picture on there, and I've put the link on there.
Okay.
Watch it. It's actually really worth watching. It's actually a very good interview with Ange, and personally, I think it puts a bit of hope to things.
Right, that's good. Anything, you know what, Dan? Right, Andrew's getting it from all quarters. We've all critiqued him for very good reasons. We're critiquing him for not for the sake of critiquing. We're critiquing because there's certain things that we see that he's doing that he could do better. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Obviously, within his inner circle of coaches and everything that he's doing at the club, right, we can see negatives and we can see positives, right?
That's
and there's
right.
no harm in calling out the negatives. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
You've got to, if you want something to work, you've got to sort the problems out. If you just put the problems under a pillar, the problem's still there.
Yeah.
It needs to be sorted, and there is a couple of things he needs to sort out, basically. And hopefully he will adapt, but only time will tell on that one. He deserves next season, or at least 6 months, to show that he can adapt to the Premiership. And he also needs to get some other players in there, like you said, because three-quarters don't work with this system.
I know. Like when I was going through the list, it's like a sorry state of affairs because you're thinking you're trying to cherry pick, right? Who can play his actual style of football, move the ball quickly. You have to have desire, right? You have to have running in you. You will have to want to do it as well. Like I said, there's certain players that they think they've scored a goal and then they don't have to work for the team.
One quick question then for you, before I jump off, because I've got to go have the bloody shower and everything before I go to the Austrian.
Nice one.
Do you reckon the team's just given up because it's the end of the season, or in some ways it's looking like he's almost lost the dressing room a bit?
Yeah, that's what Chang alluded to. I think he's lost certain players, not the whole.
They know they're on their way out.
I think they know they're on their way out because obviously Ange has made body language tells you a lot. And when that Chelsea game revealed a lot, didn't it, Dan? Because he was scolding certain players, right? And I think he's probably lost a couple here and there, and the others are on the border of losing. Yeah, and they just get it's almost like they're on the beach. We don't care because we're not part of your plans, so we don't give a damn.
Who knows?
I would like to add something very quickly to this, if I may, Queen Ellie. This is something that I discussed with Mr. Len Clark, together with Daniel as well on Monday during the members calling show, right before I did my outro and I froze before I froze up and Mr. Clark was talking to a frozen image of me when I was already left
That
the
was
room
funny.
on Monday.
That was
That
funny.
was so funny. But anyway,
It was-
that was I did make a point to say that a lot of these players, especially those who are in the running to feature for their respective national teams in the summer international tournaments, be it the Euros or the Copa America.
Yeah.
Some of these players may already have one eye on featuring for their respective national squads, and that is why they could be reserving themselves, or they could be trying
It's
to
possible.
they're trying to avoid picking up an injury that will rule them out of contention or featuring for their respective national teams. And this is not something that's uncommon. We've actually seen this happen with Romero in the weeks leading up to the last World Cup. If you
Saar
remember,
Basuma.
he was
Yeah.
same with Bissouma as well. Exactly.
Right,
So yeah,
what,
so this
if
might be
I'm the
some.
manager, Chang, I'm telling them you play for Tottenham Hotspur, mate, first and foremost.
Yeah, for your country is a big thing. But you're right in what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I know what you mean, Dan. Their country is important to them, but you don't stand tools and play a lesser game because you don't want to get injured,
No, you
right?
should.
Because we're paying your wages, right? And you've got responsibility to yourself, to your manager, and to the fans, right? If the fans can suss you out, they've sussed out lots of different players who've done that in the past. Yeah, we see it every time, don't we, Dan? When we're at the matches or you're just watching on TV, you can see the players who are doing it. Yeah,
right, I've got to jump because I've got to go have my shower. Thanks for letting me on. But like I said,
no,
especially with you,
you're
Ellie,
welcome.
and everyone else, watch that interview. It is actually,
Yeah.
like I said, it's only about an hour and a half
Thanks,
old.
Dan.
It's brand new. It's about what's happened in the past 4 games. And he also talks about what he's got to plan for the future. It's actually a solid interview, and it's given me a bit of hope.
Brilliant.
So hopefully it can give everyone else a bit of hope. Anyway, have a good day. Cheers for letting me
And
on.
you,
Later.
I'll
Take
feed
it
the
easy.
snake.
And you as well, Mr. Daniel. Thank you for jumping on. Really appreciate you having
Thank
here.
you, Dan.
Oh, it's fine.
Take
Thanks
care,
for
mate.
letting me on. Take care.
Good luck at the osteopath. All right.
Thank you.
All right, darling. Take care. Right. So we're gonna give a few more readouts. Right. So if you could read that one out from Daniel E. Chang.
Okay, so he's referring to, I believe this is the comment he mentioned of the players that we need for the future. And he's telling David here that there are many great midfielders and we need a number 6 like a Paulinia who knows when to make the right fouls as well. Basically, taking one for the
Yeah.
team. And also,
Totally
breaking
agree.
up play when things aren't going great for us. So yeah, I believe this is also something that is lacking at the moment, because back in the day, if you to look at the how Tom Huddlestone and Scott Parker and the likes of what's that Belgian? Suddenly I've forgotten his name.
Dembele.
Musa Dembele. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly him. Exactly, Musa Dembele. These are the kind of midfielders whom I really thought that Bissouma or Pape Matar would grow to be one day.
Yeah.
But I think it's still very early doors for Pape Matar, and if and when we are going to really move on and challenge, I believe we need someone who's ready-made. We need a now and present player rather than one for the future. If we are to kick on.
I know. Do you know what? I really love Paulinho. I think he's a fantastic player. He gives his heart and soul every time he steps on that pitch. He's committed. He's one that's got desire. He's one that's got running in him. He will suit Ange's system 100%. And I'm sure if we can get him over the line and beat Real Madrid and beat Barcelona, or wherever his agent is going to send him or give him an opening to go to, if we're one of those teams that are in for Paulinho, 100% will be the happiest lady on earth if we get him. Not because he's the greatest footballer in the world, because he's not, right? Because what he can do for our team. He'll be the catalyst, that extra, like when Bill Nicholson brought Dave Mackay to the club. He said that is the missing jigsaw piece that I needed, right? And this is, I honestly believe he's not the only missing jigsaw, but he's a very important cog in that jigsaw, right? He's like that jigsaw that's going to gel, right? He's a leader. He works so hard. He's a Trojan. I said he's like Højbjerg on speed because he can play the quick ball, yeah. Where Højbjerg's lacking, he hasn't got that lacking. Right, he can score goals. He can create goals. He's a bit like a poor man's Rodri, but if I can take a poor man's Rodri, I'm taking him. You know, because he's the nearest thing we can have to Rodri than any other player in the Premiership. I can't think of another player who would fit this system ideally like Paulinho. There might be players abroad that I've not seen, that they haven't come to light, but I do watch a lot of scouting reports, and I haven't seen one player that matches up with what he can give our team. You know, it's not what that he's the best player out of all the midfielders that we can go for, but he's got that certain, I always say je ne sais quoi, yeah, like he can give you that je ne sais quoi to make you more of a complete side. So yeah. Anyway, we're coming to nearer the end of the show. So what I'm going to do, right, is just flick through these very quickly because we've got a lot of people that have joined our chat as well. Let me get some new people as well. Right, Daniel, Wayne Bonner. Right, there's so many. Dirty Sanchez, here we go. Dirty Sanchez, welcome to our chat. With a few signings, Andrew will surely do better next season. Well, it bodes well, because he'll have the type of players that he knows, like he'll check their mentality, he'll check their character before we sign them. You know, he won't just say, I want this player, and he hasn't done his homework on that player. You know, he's spoken to his previous manager, he's spoken to the agent, he's spoken to the player himself. You know, I think these are all important ingredients before Ange gets them to put their pen to paper and sign that contract. Now we've got Meta Football, Chris joining us. Good morning. Let's see what the toilet door has scribbled on it today. Very funny, very funny. Right. Audio Artisan saying, what are the chances Maddison misses out on the England squad for the Euros? I reckon he gets off this summer. I reckon he gets the summer off. I don't know. It depends on...
I could be wrong, but either one of us could have been disconnected. I hope it's not me. If Queen Ellie has, I believe she's gone. Okay, so sorry for that, everyone. Looks like I have to just take charge of the rest of the show for another, say, 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna give Queen Ellie another 5 or 10 minutes before we close off at 1 p.m. UK time. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still very much here. Yes, I am. So let's not try to dwell too much, everyone, on the 4 consecutive losses. I would say that we still have a lot to play for. Although with only 3 matches to go, you could say that the most of the team already have one eye on their summer vacation, or they are making their plans for their summer break even before the end of the season. But let's just hope that we do get 5th. Let's just hope for us to break that losing streak. I honestly cannot bear to think that we're going to pick up 5 consecutive league losses for the very first time in the club's history, if I'm reading it correctly. And this coming, I think it's Sunday, isn't it? I think is it on Sunday or Saturday? I'm just going to very quickly check. When are we expected to play Burnley? Here we go. There's the fixtures. And let's see now. So yes, the game against Burnley will be played it's going to be at 3. It's going to be a 3 p.m. game on the 11th of May, which would be on a Saturday. So we have a 3 p.m. kickoff against Burnley at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And seeing as how Manchester United lost, very surprisingly, to Crystal Palace by 4-0, we are still very much in the running. We are still very much in the contention to finish fifth, which would be something that a lot of us couldn't have expected us to accomplish, given how most of the journalists and the media and the pundits wrote us off as relegation candidates with the sale of Hurricane to Bayern Munich, and also Ange Postecoglou, who's a relatively unknown manager in Europe, although he has managed Celtic and played, or he's managed in Asia as well as the Australian national team, but not many would have given him, the benefit that he would be able to do what he did this season. And those three, I would say that the 3 Manager of the Month awards are coming back to haunt him if he is to be seen as, being a failure because of his own success, because of his own, achievements early this season. I would still urge the fans to please give Big Ange as much backing and as much patience as you can possibly muster, because if we really do, give him the sack and look to bring in another new manager, I honestly cannot see which other manager out there in the current market is going to want to manage us, seeing as how we are pretty much getting rid of managers every other season. If you look at the duration of Jose Mourinho and Conte and Nuno and now Big Ange, if there is to be a better time, this is the time to back Big Ange. Although I feel that Daniel Levy and Enoch have a big say in this as well. And speaking of speaking of backing Big Ange, here is Queen Ali back.
Look, I'm watching you on my phone. Right, what happened? My daughter's system was updating and it cut me off because what they do at their centre, they update the system, so it cut me off. So I do apologise, everybody. It's not my fault. It's my daughter's work's fault. Anyway, you was doing a grand job holding the fort there, Chang, and you went through our last 3 matches, didn't you? Because I got you on my phone, so I knew what you were talking about. So the last 3 matches we got next up. Oh, it's the dreaded game, isn't it? Next up. Oh, you know what though? I want to mention, before I mention the 3, I want to mention the Spurs ladies are playing on Sunday in the FA Cup final against Manchester United, and I'm going to be there, Chang, cheering on, and I'll be doing a really good vlog for everybody who's interested in the ladies team. And I think a lot of men have come out of the woodwork, a lot of women have come out of the woodwork loving the Spurs ladies team, because we have a very exciting team, especially up front, because we've got Naz, Beth England and Martha Thomas. I hope that Robert Villahan plays Thomas and England together, because they can play together, right? Because they complement one another. And then Naz just behind them as a number 10, picking up the ball and doing her little bits of magic here and there, because she's a very clever player. She picks up really good pockets of space. Gracie Clinton, unfortunately, she's going to be cup-tied, but we've got our new signing, Luana Beulah, holding us at the back. Shalina Sadorski, we don't know whether she'll be fully fit, but she'll probably make the bench. If not, she'll be our regular centre back, along with Luana Beulah and Amy Turner and Ash Neville in defence. And then in midfield, it might be AM might get a chance, and because she's been very effective this season in big games. Bissett will definitely play, because she's very pretty as well, so that makes up the beauty of the game. My brother sort of fancies her. He's been telling me all week that he fancies her, and he's a married man. I'll adopt him in there. And then we've got Drew Spence, she's got the kudos, the fitness, because she's getting older, it's getting a little bit more, she's running out of steam, but what she can give us in 60 minutes is a very good 60 minutes. And then we've got Zhang, who can come off the bench, who's our new signing. So she's very, very, Japanese players, they're always enthusiastic when they come on the pitch. And she's a very good player as well, very technical. Scored some fantastic goals in training, by the way, everybody. I mean, I've been seeing her pop it left foot, right foot, top corner, bottom corner, top pins, left pins. She's fantastic, right? So we've got her in reserve. And if he does start her instead of Gracie Clinton, she'll be a very good addition. And then up front, I think we should play Naz, Thomas and England, right? And then we've got a player called Ellie Brazil, who was injured for most of the season before with an ACL, and she's recovered and come back. But she's on the fringe of making it big because she's a young player. She's still learning the game. And what better players to learn from than Martha Thomas and Beth England? Yeah, one ex-Manchester United player in Martha Thomas, one ex-Chelsea player in Beth England. Had a fabulous
Definitely
game.
England scored against Everton over the weekend, didn't she?
Yeah, so she's coming back to form, right? Because she'd only scored one previous goal before that. So, and she's making the right runs. She is making the right runs, but she's just been a tad unlucky. You know, sometimes when you're a striker, you can hit the post, or you could just scuff your shot, or you do a good shot, but the goalie saves it, or it comes off the bar, you know. So she has been doing well, but we've got Martha Thomas. Either he's going to start Beth England and have Martha Thomas as a super sub, or he'll start both of them. I personally think you should start both of them together, right? And then sacrifice Naz as a number 10, because I think Naz can play that role. And then play Ayan as the right midfielder, because I think Ayan's got a little bit more than Charlie Grant, right? I just think she's a little bit more progressive with the ball, whereas Charlie Grant, she's very disciplined. She comes from the Australian League as well. She's grown up with very, very good footballers, because Australia, their national team, are very, very good. All right, so we've got a lot of going for us in this final, and we drew 2-2 with them, didn't we, Chang, earlier this season? So you know we've got the beating of them, but remember, right, we can't go on that pitch and play the occasion. We've got to go on that pitch and play our match, play the match, play Manchester United. They've got their kudos as well, because they've got Mary Earps in goal. We've got Becky Spencer in goal. Different goalies, but you know, one gets all the praise and the other one is not so well known, but she's well known in our quarters, and she's a very good goalkeeper, right? And then obviously they've got Katie Zellum, and they've got Ella Toon, and they've got a new player called Lucia Garcia. So like Jose Garcia, he's got our leader's namesake, you know. She's a very good player. She got the equalising goal. I think she scored in the 89th minute, if I'm correct, in the game that we played just recently. So, listen, I think Spurs ladies, if we bring back that trophy, Chang, I'll be the proudest ex-Spurs ladies player, and I'm their ambassador as well for her game too. So, you know, it's going to make my day, and I'll probably come home drunk. I'm putting it out there. Anybody who sees me, they're going to probably see me a little bit tipsy, but really, I'm probably not good with alcohol, so I should really steer clear and just have a kebab or something. Celebrate with a kebab or some souvlaki, as us Greeks say, right? So what do you think, Shane? Do you think we're going to win the match? Do you think we've got a chance?
Of course, because as you just mentioned a few minutes earlier, the last time we played Manchester United in the Women's Super League, I feel we were very unlucky not to have won that match, because if memory serves me right, they scored a very late equalizer in the injury time in the second half. We were leading by 2 goals to 1. We scored something like 2 quick fire goals at the start of the second half, and we looked
Yeah.
good for the victory. If I were to, just based on what I saw
Yeah, we
on
did.
the FA player,
We were playing very
and
well.
we were playing well. We were playing well, and seeing
And then,
how Bethany England got on the score sheet as well, and Martha Thomas, she scored that
love her.
all important and historic winner against Arsenal,
Yeah.
which I believe was the first time we ever beat Arsenal
First
in
time
the
we ever beat
league.
them competitively
Correct.
in WSL.
Competitively, yes.
My team beat them
Yeah.
as well in a friendly, because Arsenal ladies, they weren't the Arsenal ladies that they are now, right? I don't know if you know this, Chang, but Tottenham Hotspur ladies were formed out of Broxbourne ladies, and a lady called Kay Lovelock, who's still alive, and Sue Sharples very sadly lost her life quite recently, right? Not recently, but she lost her life, poor soul, right? And they formed Tottenham Hotspur ladies, and they got the kudos, and the club backed them. But before that, we were Spurs ladies playing in Tottenham at Hackney Marshes, Somerset School, and Drayton School at Markfield Park. So I was spotted as a 12-year-old girl, right? And
Wow.
it wasn't like the football is organised now, right? They came to my school because I was playing for the boys' team. I was the only girl in Haringey playing for a boys' team at their school level, right? And I actually made the Haringey Press, because the Haringey Gazette, it was called at that. And I've got all the old clippings, but they're in my loft. What I'll do, I'm going to get them out of my loft, because what I did, all the memorabilia, I didn't want it to be spoilt. So I've got it in a massive box. And what I'll do, I'll get it out and show people later on when I've moved house, because I'm moving house very, very shortly, probably by near the end of this year, I'm going to be moving. So my dad kept lots of clippets of news articles about myself, right? But I don't want to make this about myself. What I'm saying is, Spurs ladies, we were good before Tottenham Hotspur ladies formed, right? But there was no league system. There was no organisation. Ladies football was not considered like it is now. There's full backing. You've got Sky Sports going, you've got BT Sports going, BBC are going. All the big knobs are going to watch ladies football, and there's big money in ladies football now, and it's on catch up. It's on catch up with the men's game, but it's getting better and better in terms of the quality of football that you're seeing and the fitness of the ladies. The ACL injuries are still a concern, because a lady is 6 times more likely to suffer an ACL injury than a fella. Yeah. Well, I'm living proof of that, because I've got a massive scar on my knee where I had an ACL operation early doors in my career, right? So anybody wants to see my scar, I don't even charge you. You can have a little free look. If you meet me personally at the stadium, that is, or out and about. I live in Enfield. If you want to make a trip down here, I'm not coming to your area to show you it, right? And I had many, many other injuries, right, Chang? But these ladies, they can withstand more injuries because their muscles are better, right? They do more vigorous training, and they play 90 minutes. We only played 80 minutes. I know it doesn't sound a big difference, but 90 minutes has gone to 100 minutes now because of the extra time. Even in ladies football, you get in 9, 10, 11 extra minutes, and you have to have the fitness. And I've seen some girls, not many have gone down with cramp. Yeah, so because they're super fit, and they're doing all the sort of very, very similar training to what the men do, right? And it's very, very harsh, the training. When I was training, Chang, we used to do circuit training. It was bloody hard. Run back, run to the next post, come back, run to the next post, come back, run round the pitch, run round the pitch, run round. I thought, what? How many times do you want me to run round the pitch, boss? then until you drop, and then you haven't got no more juice left, and then you have to recover, and then you get up, you brush yourself down. These girls, they're ultra fit, their bodies, yeah, and they have to work on it because the ACL injury, they've done a lot of sports science on the ACL injury, what women are suffering and why they're suffering it. It's because that part of the muscle where the knee is, right, leading up to the knee, it's not strong enough. So what they're doing, they're building the upper muscle of the thigh and underneath the thigh to withstand the pressure of the tackle. Yes, so that they can get it down. If they can get it down to 2 times as many as men, that's a miracle, you know. Yeah. Anyway, we better end the stream, Shane, because we've been going on for a long time. I'll just say, Mr. M, I used to live Gladesmore Road, South Tottenham, Ellie North 15. I'm Essex now. Well, I'll be Essex next year because I'll be in Chelmsford with my 2 daughters. I'm moving from Enfield, North London, but I'm a Tottenham girl. I was born and bred in Beaconsfield Road, it was called Markfield Grammar, then it changed to Drayton School, and now it's called Gladesmore Community School. And that, my school, I'm very proud of them, Chang, because they actually appeared as singers on the opening ceremony of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yeah, but I'm going to call it White Hart Lane. I'm not calling it that.
Same as me as well. That's the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, and Mr. M saying, down the road from me, Chelmsford, Ellie. Well, my daughters are in Chelmsford, right by the river. So I'm going to try and get a place right by the river. Because, you know, Chang, you know, when you look out and you see a river and there's greenery, it's so beautiful, you know, and serene. And it makes you calmer, I think, because I've noticed my daughters are very calm. When they were living here, it was like mayhem, honestly. We've got no river, but we've got trees because I've got a park at the back of my home, right? But it's not Chelmsford. Chelmsford's a lot nicer than where I live, right? So is there any last words you'd like to say, or anyone you want to big up, any channels you want to mention? Obviously, the ones you're on as well.
Okay, I'm just going to mention my next appearance, or rather the next time I'm going to be on YouTube. I believe we are due to be on together again on Friday over at Just a Girl Who Loves First with Miss Kate and Mr. Jimbo. And I think it's going to be at noon. I could be wrong. It could be at 11 a.m. in the morning, or it could be 12 noon. I will check with Miss Kate. But yeah, Friday we are due back together on Just a Girl Who Loves First. And then come Saturday, come match day against Burnley, I will be doing a watch along. Hopefully, if Mr. Sievers and Senor Garcia are free to do so, I would be looking forward to. I'll be looking forward to very much to doing a live watch along on El Tel Cockerel and Talk and Ball for the 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff against Burnley. And immediately after that, next Monday, again, it's going to be you and me again over at Just the Girl Who Loves First with Miss Kate and Mr. James.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my God. Doing our weekend roundup and also, you know, a review of the Spurs league game against Burnley. And I really do hope next Monday we have something positive to talk about, and not just rambling on about what the future may hold and what kind of players are missing in the Big ANGE's system. So with that, I would like to thank each and every single viewer who was watching this stream, either at the very beginning, in the middle, or even now towards the end. And also a special massive shout out and thank you to Mr. Daniel E. from the Hospital Hood for jumping on earlier and sharing with us. He was sharing with us this interview that ANGE did with Opta Sport, and I'm going to put the link up again over here in our chat
and if you could put his link up, the Hotspur Hood.
Correct. Yes, I will do that as well.
Link up, and also put Kate's link up, and I would like you to add Leo's Mile High Hotspur if you can, and Bobby K's Kuvan the Kang or Free Spurs Boys. What he's Free
By the
Spurs
way,
Boys. That's the main
by the
channel.
way, Queen Ellie, do you know how to redirect our viewers and our?
Yeah, that's what I put in the comments because I want to learn how to do it because I've never
Look,
done it. Do you know how to do it,
okay,
Chang?
because I'm going to try and if Senor Garcia, I can see you in the chat. FA, if you could help to redirect us over to Kate and Jimbo, who I believe have just started streaming via Weathered Bliss round 16.
I don't know how to do it. So,
show.
Senor Garcia,
Yeah.
will he be doing it?
I can. He is in the chat. He's in the chat, and if he's listening to us,
Yeah,
maybe
if
he
you're
can
listening,
help us to
how do we
redirect
do
over
it?
to.
And I'll do it.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I'm just going to put this here. I am going to share this interview by Big Ange overall on Optus Spot by posting this. There we go. There it is. So everybody, if you are still here in the chat, this one here is the link. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Senor Garcia, I will just put the link then. I'm just going to put the link right now.
If he doesn't do it, we're going to play this.
Dealers, not been much wheeling and dealing,
no, I'm not a wheeler and dealing. No, fuck off.
I'm just going to put the link now. So here's the link for Kate's show that is going on right now. Both her and
Jimbo,
lovely husband, Mr. James
Yeah.
Boxell, they are doing Weathered Bliss round 16 right now. So
who's going to transfer our viewers over to Kate?
They can transfer themselves because I unfortunately do not have control. I do not have administrative privileges.
Yeah, but how do I do it? How do I do it?
I believe there should be I believe under the settings, when you end the show, you could redirect me. Oh, okay. Hang on. Okay.
Because I want to redirect our viewers over to Kate.
Senor Garcia is asking you to call him now.
Okay.
I don't know why. Yeah, you could give him a call while I try. You could give him a call while you're on mute while I try to wrap up the
I'll
show.
I'll mute myself.
Okay. So for anyone else who's still watching, the next time I'm expected to appear here on Talk and Ball and also El Tel Cockerel would be the live watch along for the Burnley Home League game. That's going to be on Saturday. It's going to be taking place, I think, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's when I'm going to be on next. Hopefully, Senor Garcia will be on with me as well. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Colin, who you'll see to my left, that's his thumbnail right there. He'll be hosting and conducting the watch along. And let's just hope that the team really does turn it around for the final. I believe this is the final home league game of the season. Oh no, it's not the final. It's the second last home league game because we still have Manchester City to come as well. So let's just get behind the team. Let's just bring some atmosphere, some cheer, some joy to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because it's been a very, very tough last 4 consecutive league losses for us. But I know this has been said far too often, but let's just give Big Ange all the support that we can muster and hope for better things to come for us from next season and beyond. Back to you now, Queen Ellie.
I've had a chat with Jose, and he said we can't redirect because he's not at home, and it has to be done from YouTube studio. So I urge everybody who's with us now to go over to Kate to Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs and watch her Wedded Bliss show because it's absolutely fabulous. Okay, everybody. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate your support. You've been fantastic in the chat. Absolutely brilliant. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody. We try our best every single show to do our best, but we're going to see you out with the James Maddison song. So everybody, look forward to the Man City game and look forward to Arsenal not winning the league. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Here we go. Can I get that in? Yes, there's the cockerel with Steve Perriman's name on it. Come on, you Spurs, he wrote. That's it. Bye bye for now. Ciao. Ciao, Chang. Ciao, the chat. Bye bye.